Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Dylan versus Dylan Diaries. So, today I want to talk about what it means to be, a different mommy version. Basically, that's what version are you? I find having multiple children, which, as I said, I have five biological children and one bonus daughter. So I have five girls and one boy, which includes the twins, Harper and Hayes. So I had my first child when I was 17 years old. Got pregnant when I was 16 years old. And that really was an experience. Um, when I had my oldest daughter, Bria, I know the version of mommy that I was at that time was completely like overbearing, completely controlling, um, just not really knowing what to expect or what to do, and kind of like relying on other people's opinions and somewhat guidance. Because as I said, I was 17 years old. So um, I think I relied a little bit on everybody for a lot of different things. And as Bria grew older, I know that I was like super protective of everything that had to do with her, whether it was spending the night over at somebody's house, or as she got older in school, going to a party, or just wanting to hang out when she started, liking boys and dating boys. And I'm like, no, we're gonna go, we're gonna sit right there. Um, Even down to, when she got her license, who's in the car with you, whose car are you in. Um I was very much like all over everything, and my first answer to everything when she wanted to do stuff was probably no. She would probably tell you I probably was like no. I remember her wanting to get her first tattoo and piercings and all those things, and I made her wait till 16, 17 years old. And she'll tell you now, like, half the stuff you let Jada do, I didn't get to do, and Amari didn't get to do. So I would say I realize it's because each child has gotten a different version of mommy for various different reasons. I think as moms and women, we grow and we learn from, our experiences of being a mom, whatever mistakes that we may have made. And I don't even like to call them mistakes. Um, I would just say learning lessons that we went through, because everything is not necessarily a mistake. Some things you have to go through to get to the other side, to understand situations better, to navigate better through situations. Um, so I would say that's the type of mom I was. The overprotective, overbearing mom with Bria. With my next daughter, Amari, I would say I was pretty much the same. Now, I had to navigate having two kids. They're 5 years apart. So one was in the infant stage and one was going into the kindergarten stage. So I was very protective about the daycare spaces that Amari was in. Very protective still of Bria going to school and going to kindergarten, and like having to balance being a mom of a baby and then having a child going into kindergarten, first grade, and all those different things. I would say that was a real experience. And Amari will probably tell you that I was a super overprotective mom too. But the things that I didn't let Bria do, I kind of like started letting Amari do a little sooner. But I'm still very much the where you going, who you gonna be with, text me, call me. I'm that mom that I have an Android and an iPhone, and I really just have my iPhone so I can keep up with all my kids, because all my kids have iPhones, and I need to know their locations. So when they're not answering, or when they say they're going to hang out, or Bria likes to travel when she's going to travel, and Amari's going to hang out, I need locations to be on. And I'm that mother. Like, don't turn your location off. I need to know your location. You don't want to answer the phone? Fine. You better let me see your location. Because if need be, I need to know where I need to be pulling up at. Because I am the mother that pulls up. I don't know about you all, but let me tell you, I'm the pull up mother. You ain't know my phone calls too many times. I'm pulling up wherever you at. I don't care who's around. I'm pulling up. I'm pulling up. I am pulling up. So yes, I think I let Amari have a cell phone probably before I let Bria have a cell phone. So I would say I was still a little protective, well, very protective. I'm protective of all. I'm Mama Bear, but I think I loosened up a little bit, with Amari. All right, so here comes 5 years later. Here comes Jada, the force to be reckoned with. Oh my gosh, yes, they will tell you, yes. Jada's spoiled, Jada's rotten. I let Jada do quite a bit before. Tattoos, piercings, hanging out, quite a few little things that I let her do before the other girls. I'm not gonna lie. This version of me with her was probably a little bit more lax. I will tell you, with school, with all of the girls, I didn't play about school. But with Jada, once she got in like elementary and middle school, I was on her. But high school, I kind of loosened up a little bit because she started 9th grade during the pandemic. And I think the pandemic children, any child that went to school during the pandemic, there was a struggle. There was a struggle with you going into the 9th grade and you're entering into high school, which is a new environment, and she was going to a new school, so you're meeting new friends. She didn't go to the school that she could have gone to, so she had to meet all new friends. And in meeting all new friends, how do you do that when you're online, right? And so when they finally did get to go into the building, some of these girls she just did not mesh well with. She didn't get along too good with. She's definitely a cross personality between me and her dad for sure, but more of her dad. So that was a little rough. So I think I gave her a lot of grace in high school, and I think I gave her way more grace than I gave Amari and Bria. They'll probably tell you that too. I think I did. I yes. But I find that you have to show up in the version that you know your children also need you to, right? So I meet them where they're at. And so because of the different experiences that they all had, all of their schooling experiences, were really different. And so I had to show up in where they needed me for that and support where I could. I still wanted good grades. I still wanted you to attend. But there were just it was rough, okay? High school was rough for her. But she got through it. She graduated. She good. She's doing good. So we got through that part. But yes, I do feel when you have multiple children, whether they're the same ages or different ages, I do feel that we are different versions for our children. I think each child gets something different. My schedule was different when I had Bria and Amari. I worked a lot of nights. I worked a lot of weekends. I didn't take a lot of time off, so it was hard, like putting them in certain activities. I mean, I did the activities, but there were things I had to rely on my mom or my support system to like help me get them to those activities and really do those things. With Jada, when she took on dance and all that, it was a little bit different because I transitioned to a different position. So I know I showed up as a different parent, right? Like I know I showed up as a different parent because I had more time outside of work to like really commit and go to those things and do those things. Versus when Bria was growing up, it was a little bit more difficult. Amari, I would say in high school, I was able, because I had transitioned to a different role, I was able to be at more things for her too. But that's something that I also have mommy guilt about, right? Like I have mommy guilt about not being able to do all the things that I said I wanted to do with them when they were younger children. because of the job that I had, because of the work that I did, because of how much it required me to be at work. And it's like, it's a lot of pressure because you need money to take care of your family, but then you also have to balance that with your family time. And that's a hard thing. And I think most people do struggle with it. But for me, understanding that I'm a different version of mommy for my children, um, it's made me better, right? I don't feel guilty about that. I don't feel guilty about them getting a different version of me because I've matured. I've matured, like I said, as a woman. I've matured as a wife. I've matured as a mommy overall. Um, there are things that I've learned along the way that I'm able to share with others, like I'm doing now on this YouTube channel, um, that I find to be helpful. So I feel like I'm becoming, a better version. Um, so yeah, Harper and Hayes. I'm still mama bear. I'm still overprotective, but you know, it's different. Like having two the same age and they're twins and they're so intertwined with each other. They're so in sync with one another. They're so much alike, but then they're also so very different, right? And so how I have to show up for them. They need a lot of attention. They need a lot of love and a lot of affection, which is what I definitely give them, and I'm great at doing because that's who I am to the core. But they need equal amounts. So I find myself like being torn sometimes because if I'm in the process of doing something with Harpy and I'm giving her the love and attention that she needs, Hayes will come right over there. Well, you didn't say that to me. Well, you didn't do that for me. Well, you didn't tell me that. So then I have to turn around and I have to give him that same love and that reassurance and, give it all back. So I'm constantly having to remind myself to make sure that I'm really giving them equal amounts of attention and love and affection and all of those things, the reassurances, and building them both up at the same time because they really do compare each other. They don't compare themselves to their older siblings. It's like they could care less. They know those are the big siblings and it's no comparison, right? But with each other, it gets really serious. Like those comparisons are like, oh my gosh, like I tell people, like, if you're gonna bring them something, don't bring one and not bring for the other. Like, figure it out, right? If you're coming with gifts, if you want to buy Harpy a Barbie doll, then you better go get Hayes a Batman or a Transformer or something, right? If you're giving candy, you got to give them both the candy. Like, you can't come over here with one and not do the other. That's one thing I don't play. I don't play like that. And even down to like taking them places, right? If it's a birthday party and they both can't go, then we ain't going. Sorry, we just not. Because if one can go and the other one can't, then I have to find something else for the other one to do. So I know as they get older, we're going to get to that point. Because they're only 6 years old right now. So of course at this age, they're all being invited to the same things. But I know as they get older and they make their friends, Hayes is going to have his little friends and they're going to be like, oh, this is just a boy party. And I get that. But then I got to just be able to plan for that. And I got to be able to explain that to Harpy in a way that she understands so that it's not hurting her feelings. And then just plan to do something else separate with her so that her time is occupied. But I will say, since Hayes is playing basketball and Harpy's in dance, that really became their full like time of separation. And we'll talk about that at another time. But yes, that's when they fully started separating. But right now it's no separation. So yeah, the versions of mommy. Knowing what version you are. So today I would say I am the loving version, the nurturing version, the caring version, for sure overprotective version. I think that's just me. I have anxiety. I'll be honest with you all. I have anxiety around my kids and what's going on with my kids and anything happening to my kids, like I have anxiety. I'm gonna tell you something. The more kids you have, the higher your anxiety level gets. And it doesn't stop. You know, I worried about Bria since birth, and she's 28, and I still worry about her now. You know, she's traveling right now, back to school, and I'm looking at locations. Okay, where are you? You good? Let me know you good. Let me know you made it there. So I think I'm always gonna worry. But I have been really learning how to allow my older children how to be adults, right? And how to go through things and get through it. How to navigate through all of life's experiences, and me not trying to take on their battles and making their battles mine, because I know I can't do that. Trying to save them from the world. I know I can't save them from the world. They have to experience the world the same way that I did. But you want to protect them from the things that you know that's out there, but you have to recognize that they have to have their own experiences. So it's been a journey navigating through the different years. You got 5 years apart, 5 years apart, 5 years apart, and then I don't know, the twins are 6, Jade is 19. You do the math on how many years that is apart. We got a big old gap, right? But I will say, I love them all the same. No matter what version they get of me, I love them all the same. I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I do recognize that I have grown. There's certain experiences that I have learned from them going in school that I know to pay attention to now, with the twins being in school. That really told me a lot. The things to expect, to not expect, and the things you tolerate, and the things that you won't tolerate. So yeah, I would say for sure that I've learned a lot. And I would say that no matter what version that I am, I'm always trying to be the best version of mommy that I can be. May not always get it right, may have some upset kids sometimes, but we're human. We're not perfect. We're on a journey. We're on a journey together. I grew up with my oldest daughter. So what the hell? I made some mistakes. Yes, I did. I made some mistakes. Because we grew up together. We figured out and navigated life together. Amari, I had her at 21. We grew up together, you know. But when I had Jada, I was more of an adult. And for sure, I'm a seasoned adult now. Having twins at 39 years old, I'm seasoned. I'm seasoned now. So I think I got this down pat. And that's probably why I'm gonna tell y'all something a little bit too. Mommy version, this version of mother that I am today. I don't like unsolicited parental advice. How do y'all feel about that? You know, that's when people like to try to tell you what you should be doing with you and yours. I don't like that. If I don't ask you your opinion, 9 times out of 10, I probably don't want it. If I'm telling you about a situation, I'm probably telling you the story just for you to listen. But I for sure am not telling you the story because I really want your advice. Yeah. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So please like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. But come on, y'all. We got to get these views up. I got more things to talk about.